What on earth is this clamour? What is afoot? What is the fear accounting for your intrusion, getting hold of me at a time when I was offering a sacrifice of cattle upon the altar intended for the god of the sea, the protector of this Colonus of ours? Speak up, so that I may learn the whole of the matter, on account of which I have hastened here at a speed greater than my feet should find themselves at ease.
Oh, man held most dear, for I did indeed recognize you from your way of speaking. It is but lately that I have suffered terrible things at the hand of that man.
Of what kind are they? And who has done you an injury? Speak up.
That Creon whom you see right before you. He's on his way out, having dragged away from me my 2 daughters, the only thing still mine.
What is it that you are saying?
You have heard what the nature of my sufferings has been.
Let one of the servants with the greatest speed possible make his way to these altars, and let him give strict orders to the whole of the people that they are to hasten away from the places of sacrifice, footmen as well as horsemen, the latter with reins held loose, until they come to a place where 2 roads intended for travellers converge upon another. The purpose of it all is that the 2 girls should not escape us, I becoming a laughing-stock to our guest by reason of my being overwhelmed by force. Depart with all speed in conformity with the order I have given. As for that, if I proceeded under the impulse of an anger such as he deserves, I should not let him go from my hand without his having bodily harm inflicted upon him. Yet, as things are, it shall be the laws you held to when you made your entry here. It shall be in conformity with these and with no others that judgment shall be laid down for him. The time shall never come for your making your departure from this country, before these girls are brought back here, being placed before me for all to see. You have done what is unworthy of me, unworthy of those from whom you are descended, and unworthy of your country. You have made your entry into a city which exercises justice, and does nothing apart from law, and what you have done is throw aside the country's essential way of doing things. Making your intrusion here, you resort to abduction when it pleases you, and espouse the cause of violence. And as for the city, you took it to be either destitute of men or else subject to some sort of slavery, while so far as I am concerned you took me to be tantamount to a mere nothing. Yet it was not Thebes that trained you to be bad. It is not their wont to rear men who throw justice aside, nor would they give you praise if it came to their knowledge that you were a robber of my property, and that of the gods, and that you led away by violence poor suppliants, the property of men finding themselves in a state of misery. As for myself, even though I had a claim to make which was in every way in accordance with justice, I should not disregard the ruler of the country. I should not resort to dragging off and to abducting people, and I should know the way of life incumbent upon a stranger residing among citizens. You are bringing disgrace upon your city who deserves no such treatment, and time as it moves on is making of you a man who is both old and without sense. I have said it before, and I am repeating it now. Someone had better bring back these girls here, unless you wish to be a settler in this country by compulsion, and not of your own free will. What I have said is the conviction of my mind, not merely something I have on my lips.
You see what things have come to for you, stranger. One would think that you were a man pursuing justice, considering the nature of the men from whom you are descended. But what is being found out is that you are a man acting in an evil way.
Son of Aegeus, it is not because I reckon this city to be destitute of men, nor is it because I believed it to be improvident, as you assert, that I did this deed. I did it in the knowledge that none of the citizens would find themselves beset by such zeal, on behalf of those joined to me by ties of blood, as to lend their support, in spite of me. I was fully aware that you would grant no welcome to a man who was the killer of his father, to one that was defiled, to one in whose case it was discovered that marriages entered into were unholy ones, involving, as they did, one's very children. Further, that the hill of Ares, with its assembly, tendering good counsel, had its home in this land, was something I was fully conscious of, and would not permit it that vagabonds such as these should be dwellers in this city with the rest. And it was placing my confidence upon these facts that I took the chase in hand. However, even this I should not have done, but for this man's hurling bitter curses upon me and my kindred. Still, having suffered this, I thought it right to do these things to him by way of recompense. And indeed, anger does not affect old age. There is nothing but dying. It is only those who are dead who can no longer be touched by feelings of pain. That being the position, you will do as you wish. However just may be the things I utter, my isolation makes me here be of but small power. Nevertheless, and in spite of my age, I shall attempt to requite you for those courses you are taking.
Barefaced scoundrel! Who do you suppose you pour your insults on? Upon my grey-haired age or upon your own? You are the man who has let pass through his mouth tales of murders, of marriages, and strokes of fortune, all things which I had to bear, but none resulting from my own will. What happened did because it pleased the gods that it should. Most likely because from time long past they were incensed against the race I am descended from. And indeed, if you consider myself alone, you will not find in me, as regards reproach, anything in return for which I was made to sin against myself and those belonging to me. There is something you must teach me. If there came to my father at the hand of the oracle a divine decree to the effect that he would suffer death by his offspring, how can you justly reproach me with this, when at that time there was for me no budding generation into life, on either father's or on mother's side, but when as yet I was unbegotten? And if I made my appearance upon earth, which I did, marked out for an evil destiny, and encountered my father, doing him to death, understanding nothing either of the action I committed, nor that of those against whom I committed it, what sense is there in censuring me for a deed done involuntarily? As for my mother, wretch that you are shameless enough to speak of her marriage, even though you are her brother, while forcing me to mention the nature of that marriage, as I shall do immediately, you yourself having gone as far as this, letting it all escape from your unholy mouth. She gave birth to me. Gave birth to me! Oh, the misery of all these evil things befalling me! I being ignorant of how things stood, and she being ignorant, and having brought me to birth, she to her own shame bore me children. Still, there is one thing I know for certain, that when you gave way to your foul mouthings about me and her, it was all voluntary, while when I married her, this was not the result of my own free will, and what I am saying now is not the result of my own free will. Well then, as regards this marriage, I shall never deserve the reputation of being an evil man. Neither do I deserve it in the other matter which you are ever bringing up against me, bitterly reproaching me, my father's murder. Make your reply to the one thing which alone I shall be asking you about. If, and I refer to yourself, the man of honesty, somebody came along seeking to kill you here and now, would you institute an inquiry whether the killer was your father, or would you immediately repay him? It seems to me that if you hold life dear, you would repay the guilty, and not look round to concern yourself about matters of right. But of such kind are the evil things which I have fallen into, and what I believe is this, that even my father's spirit, were it alive, would offer contradiction. But you, who are, in fact, not an honest man, while you yet believe that everything you say is right and proper, no matter whether the word uttered is one seemly or one shameful to be spoken, and yet you revile me in that manner, and do so in front of all these men. Moreover, to cover Theseus' name with flattery you think to be a thing well done, adding how perfectly Athens is governed, and then having offered praise in so many ways, you come to forget this, that if there is a country worshipping the gods, bestowing due honours upon them, it is in this respect that this country surpasses all others. And it is from her that you sought to snatch away the ancient suppliant, myself, and laid hands on the girls, meaning to be off after having taken them. And it is because of these things that I am now coming forth, invoking these goddesses to whom this place belongs, that they should help me, and that I should importune them with fervent prayers, that they were to appear as defenders and espousers of my cause. And the effect this is supposed to have is that you should come to know what manner of men it is who are custodians of this city.
The stranger, master, is an honourable man, yet his misfortunes they have been soul-destroying, and it is well deserved that a helping hand should ward them off.
Enough of words, seeing that the perpetrators of the deed are hurrying off, while we, the sufferers, have failed to make a move.
What is the rule you have laid down for a man bereaved of power?
Lead the way to the place, my playing the part of coming as your companion, so that, should the position be that the girls are still held here in these regions, you can point them out to me. If, on the other hand, those holding them have fled, we may spare us this trouble. Others are after them in haste, and time will never come when they will have occasion to offer a thanksgiving to the gods for having escaped these and being out of this country. Lead on, then, coming to realize how matters stand, that you who took are being taken, and that fate seized you when you were engaged in hunting. And indeed, when the dishonest man secures goods by way of guile, he does not keep them. Moreover, there shall be no one at your disposal to help you in this enterprise, as, on the other hand, I know full well that it was not acting by yourself or without preparation that you went to the length of undertaking an act of defiance of such magnitude, requiring the insolence which is now clearly before our eyes. There must be something or other in which you trusted when you undertook these things. I must ponder over this, and see to it that the city does not find itself in a position which makes it weaker than a single man. Have you understood any of this, or am I to suppose that everything I said has been in vain, things being the same as they were when you contrived them?
I shall not find fault with anything you may still say to me. While, when I am at home, we shall know how we need act.
As for the present, then, indulge your threats, but be on your way. And as for you, Oedipus, stay right where you are, finding yourself in safety, and being assured that but for my dying first I shall not rest, until first of all I have made you the possessor of your children.
Theseus, may everything good be yours by reason of your noble nature, and because of the care you have taken of us in defence of our just cause.